The next call is a split call. Materia Ture, 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I do want to just acknowledge the Minister's efforts to work to talk with us about this bill and what was happening, and also his commitment to a full select committee process for this legislation. It is critical that New Zealanders have access to the select committee to work through the provisions of this bill, given it is their rights that could potentially be infringed by these provisions. And so we need to have a very robust discussion about the provisions of this legislation, about security in New Zealand and the rights of New Zealanders to be free from an unjust incursion into their rights. So I want to address two issues that have been touched on, particularly in the media, and that is around oversight of the agencies and to the extent to which this bill does or does not deal with that. So first is the Intelligence and Security Committee. I think it was very unfortunate and quite improper, actually, for the Prime Minister to say that the Greens or others who might disagree with him should not be represented on the parliamentary committee which provides oversight of the intelligence and security agencies. This Parliament is representative of a broad range of views. The select committees in this Parliament are also representative proportionally of those views. And this committee, the Intelligence and Security Committee, should also have representatives from a broad range of views, so that when these agencies, these spying agencies, come to that committee, there is a genuine investigation into their work, to the justification of their work, to make sure that the hard questions are asked. And if the only people on this committee are those who agree with the agencies and their powers, and no one who will question them, then New Zealanders can rightly say that this process is undemocratic and constitutionally foul, because it does not do the job it's supposed to do, which is oversee the very critical role that these agencies play in protecting New Zealanders, but also the protection of New Zealanders' human rights. So we want to see that committee expanded. There are ways to do it very practically that don't require a political intervention. One of the suggestions is that a party that meets the definition of a parliamentary party under the standing orders has automatic representation. That keeps the committee to a manageable number of people, but also make sure there is a broader representation of views, which is critical in a representative democracy that we are elected here to uphold. So the second part of the oversight process is, of course, the Inspector General, and there are some good provisions in this legislation in relation to her current office. I would just say, sir, that in the reports over the last 2 years from the Inspector General, when she has looked at the processes that the SIS and the GCSB have used in the Act as they go about their business, she has provided an almost consistent criticism of failings of those two agencies. Now, the most recent one that I'm aware of is the vetting process, for example, the SIS does, where that's been said. The Inspector General has said that that information, private information, confidential information, is not being held securely, that there's far too much access from far too many people, and that that information is being improperly used for counterintelligence. I mean, we want to make sure these agencies, when they gather information about New Zealanders, private details about where people live, what they do, who they know, where they go, that information is being properly used by these spy agencies, and she has said that there are process issues with the SIS. We also know that the SIS has been told by her that they are not meeting their legal obligations and have unsound compliance procedures. Now, thank you, Mr Speaker. No doubt they will be working on these issues, but if these agencies and the government who oversees them wants these agencies to have increased power to gather information about New Zealanders and what we all do, they need to prove they are responsible enough to manage that information, and they have not proven it yet. The Inspector General has shown serious concerns with the process that these agencies use, and at least until she is confident that these agencies will hold that information properly and have good processes in place, they certainly shouldn't be given expanded powers to spy on New Zealanders and keep our information. Thank you, Mr Speaker.
I call